Hi everyone, it's Sam Bryant from Bryant Taylor Law. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about what business owners can learn from the tragedy of Kobe Bryant. So, in case you haven't heard by now, Kobe Bryant was an NBA player who tragically died in a helicopter accident. And it became a national tragedy because not only how prominent he was, but how unexpected the death was. So Kobe Bryant was a person who took helicopters all over LA. So for him, riding in a helicopter was just as common as us driving our cars to work. So people just were really taken aback, and add on the fact that there were 8 other people involved, including his daughter. So besides the tragedy of the death affecting the families involved, what would this have to do with business owners, and what can we learn as business owners from this tragedy? Kobe Bryant wasn't just a basketball player, but he also had interests in other companies. He invested in a lot of startups and recently started his own venture fund with a friend. So now that he's gone, what happens with that venture fund? What happens with Kobe's equity in these companies? I'm pretty sure that Kobe was very informed about these possibilities when he formed their companies, but it's not always a given. And if it wasn't, or if he didn't plan for it, now his business partners are left to pick up the pieces and find a way to keep the company going, knowing that one of their principal owners are now gone. So let's just assume that they didn't actually have a contingency plan in place for Kobe's death. If they didn't, Kobe's estate now owns the equity he had in these companies. So the partners that are remaining now have a business partner that's no longer Kobe Bryant is going to be the beneficiaries of his estate according to how that gets devised in the courts or in a will if Kobe had one. So you can see that this makes it very complicated because these businesses contemplated Kobe being a part of it for the long run. And now that he's gone, they have to deal with an unknown entity. And depending on how much equity Kobe had, that can cause a lot of complications down the road because even though Kobe is gone, his equity itself is personal property and his beneficiaries are entitled to those profits, any capital gains from a sale or liquidation from the company. So, how do you handle all that? The best way to prevent something like this from happening is to address it early on when the company first starts. So, if you have an LLC, you have an operating agreement. If you have a corporation, you have bylaws or shareholders agreements. But there are certain provisions that you can put in place so that if something were to unexpectedly happen to one of your business partners, where they die or become disabled somehow and can no longer work, you can be assured that the company keeps going. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the beneficiaries of the partner that dies get screwed over. The way that we can craft operating agreements or formation documents allows for a win-win situation. The beneficiaries of the deceased partner get adequately compensated for that equity, but the equity itself goes back to the business so that the partners that are remaining can choose to do what they feel is in their best interest and the business's best interest going forward. So if a partner passes away, if you set up your documents right, the business pays out the beneficiaries of the estate, and you can also do that with the implementation of an insurance policy. But once they're paid off, the business has that equity now that they can distribute to the partners themselves, or they can issue out additional equity to get other people on board to make up for the partner that was gone. So I'm pretty sure that, again, Kobe had his affairs in order and his partner is okay and the business will be okay. But for a lot of us, we don't have those means. So getting these documents in order at the very beginning is your best way of protecting yourself and your business in case something unexpectedly happens with one of your partners.